Good evening, viewers. Indeed, a wonderful privilege to be back again on the second week in August as we continue on this journey with this coronavirus with our guest, Pastor Wayne and Pastor Michelle Jenica. Pastor Wayne and Pastor Michelle, thank you so much for joining us again as we continue on our journey. Evening.
Evening, sir.
Amen. As we're going to continue, as we heard last week, how it affected, how the whole family got infected with the virus, we're just going to continue on this journey as Pastor Wayne and Pastor Michelle is going to share how it affected their household and the family. Over to you, Pastor Wayne.
Well, good evening again to the viewers, and thank you, Pastor Errol, for having me with you. Well, last week we spoke about this journey, this COVID journey, and how we got onto this bandwagon, if I've got to put it like that. Let me say that every week is better than the week before. And so what happened with us after we contracted the disease, things in our home just absolutely changed. It changed in such a manner that we understood that the same thing that Job anticipated, if I've got to put it like that. Job 3:25, Job said these words, "The thing that I feared most, that thing has come upon me." And this was the same atmosphere that we had in the home. The thing that we dreaded most, the thing that we were worried about most, the thing that we feared most, this thing was all of a sudden in our home. It was there. All of a sudden we understood that the stats was true. Everything that people have been saying, everything that people have been arguing about. We've been following Facebook and we've been seeing conversations left, right and center all over the place, and all of a sudden all of these things happening just meant nothing to us, because we were now smack bang in the eye of the storm, if I've got to put it like that. And we were ill. Our bodies ached. Trying to just get up from bed was a nightmare. If you have to go down to the bathroom, that couple of meters from our bedroom to the bathroom, I might as well have been doing a marathon during that period. You're trying to breathe, you are trying to just stay alive. And this is really, Pastor, what it all became about. It was just being alive for that next 10 minutes, being alive for that next hour. During that period, we also clearly noted that the children was iller than what we were. They were worse off than us, if I'm going to put it like that. I think of my kids, and people generally would say that children are stronger than the adults. Here, I've got hypertension, my children does not have hypertension, diabetes, anything that we've got. But we could see that they were affected as bad, if not even worse than us. And this is what the fear in the home really was all about. The fact that the children were so super ill. I'm telling you, it's a testimony to hear your children crying. It's a testimony to, it's horrific trying to hear the children at night, especially. I would go at night, and when the house becomes quiet, I've never thought the day would come when I would ask God, let me hear my children cough. My goodness. Because in hearing them cough, you know that they're alive. And I would, during the night, as sick as I was during the night, I would go, our bedroom is in the middle of the, so we flanked by our children. I would go to my daughter's bedroom and I would go to my son's bedroom, open the doors, just go in there and just say, Lord, let me just hear them cough in order to know that they are still alive. My daughter, I still hear how she cries, and I still hear her pleading with me, Daddy, can you get the ambulance for me so that the ambulance can take us to the hospital? And in the back of my mind, Pastor Errol, as I'm thinking about this at the back of my mind, all I'm thinking is, oh my child, you don't have medical aid. You go into a public hospital, and I'm not going to speak bad against the public hospitals, but I'm thinking, if I send you to the public hospital now, the stories, the fear, the stories that we've heard of people going to hospital and never coming home, those stories were fast and furiously coming in. And the fear that was in my mind was, if I had the ambulance come and fetch my daughter, that would be the last time that I see this child. And her mother and I, we would pray about this and talk about this. And then we decided, no, you can't go to hospital. We would rather stay with you day and night and look after you and care for you. So Pastor, this thing, and to the viewers, I want to say, this is serious. This is nothing to be taken lightly. I am not a fear monger, that's for sure. Paul writes to Timothy and says, he has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and of power and of a sound mind. But during this period, during that illness, even being a pastor, and I mean, people say, pastors, you must be so holy, you must be so spiritual, you are the pastor, you are the this, you are the that. I'm telling you, fear is the thing that grips you most. When you stare death in the eyes and you've got to speak that conversation, then you know, hey, this isn't good.
Wow. Pastor Michelle, how did this in your house affected you as their mom? Seeing your kids being sick yourself, what effect had this dreaded disease and the situation of your kids had on you as their mom?
Pastor, women carry on regardless. We make sure that the family is taken care of. I was very ill. Now I am a diabetic. I was just diagnosed in November after my dad passed. And I did not realize how bad the diabetes was until COVID came. My sugar levels were sky high, high teens and beyond 20. Now they tell me, Pastor Errol, if you have sugar that high, people have died from lower readings than that. So me, I am absolutely a living testimony of the grace of God. But regardless of that, I still carried on. I made sure everybody had a meal to eat every day. I made sure the washing was done. I don't know how I did it. I just know if I look back, that was only God. I made sure my kids had meds. I made sure everybody took their meds at the specific times. I made sure, I even made bread in that time. We got sick on the Thursday. That was our worst day. The Wednesday, Thursday, and leading up. And that Saturday morning I got up, I put the washing machine on, I made a pot of soup, and I needed a loaf of bread. So as I'm kneading, you knead once and twice, then you've got to lay over the bowl, breathe because you can't breathe. But I just carried on, and I made sure everybody was seen to. Like I said, women, and being Women's Month, I think that is something that a lot of women can identify with. I just carried on. It was hard to watch. It was difficult to hear them wheezing, but I just carried on because that is what is expected of me. As they
know about, because you said you went to your dad's party where there was in-laws also there. Can you tell us more about what happened to your other family members?
Pastor Errol, the sad thing, and I think this is the thing that shook our family most, was, if you remember last week, I spoke to the viewers and I said that my brother-in-law, Henry Wilson, he was ill, and we were together with Mom's birthday, and he said he's going home, he's not feeling well, he's going to shower, put his pajamas on, get into bed, make lemon and treat himself. That was the last time that we saw him. We constantly then heard, via the WhatsApp, that he's battling to breathe, we're battling, but he's battling, and we noticed that he was worse than us. Now let me say this, he was 10 years older than me, but he was a generally healthy person, although he had a chronic heart condition. And we would hear how his wife battled with him. His fever would never come down, his temperature wouldn't come down. He just battled and battled and battled. And a few days before he passed on, I spoke to him on the Saturday morning, and I was so concerned. I thought, you know what, let me pack in some fruit. I put some fruit in, avocados and oranges, and we took a drive through to his home. And because we knew that he was positive, we were going through the process of healing. We couldn't touch each other, and I stood inside his garage. And every time I'm in that garage, I see that image. And he stood on the other side of the window. His room is in the garage window. The window of his room is facing the garage. And I was in the garage and I interacted with him through there. I spoke to him, I gave him some oranges and some apples and stuff. And that was the Saturday. By Sunday morning, his wife had to rush him to hospital. And about 11 o'clock or so on Monday, he was no more. He passed on. This was certainly one of the saddest times in the history of our family. We loved our brother dearly. And remember, just a couple of months ago, about half a year ago, we lost Dad. And now all of a sudden, I think especially of Alicia, Henry's wife, Dad passed, the father passed because of old age. And then all of a sudden now she's got her husband also passing. And so this was the dynamic that we were facing as a family. And it's not only and I think this is what people don't understand. It's not only the death of the loved one that shakes you, but the fact that we are still in lockdown and there's no support system around Alicia. There's no support system around the family. We can't just jump in our cars and drive off and be there. Although the week as we were preparing for the funeral, we spent a lot of time with her. But because the world is upside down, families are in turmoil at the moment, and we've got to understand that this is truly where the crux of this whole matter is. The fact that we are not in normal times. Not only are we losing our families, but God created us as social entities, as social beings, and we ought to be around each other. We ought to support each other. You know what it's like if somebody passes, especially if it's one of your siblings. You have the opportunity constantly to be there. But during this period, there's not even a support system around those who die. So I want to say to the church out there, if you know of people that have passed on, make sure that you constantly keep in touch with those who have lost their loved ones. That is one of the major crises that we have faced as a family. At the same time, and I think my wife should talk about that, her sister was in hospital as well, the middle sister, so that's another story to be told there as well, Pastor.
Wow. Pastor Michelle and Pastor Wade, the question that I want to ask you, not only, and we see it in our communities, that there's somehow a stigma attached to this coronavirus. It's almost like, we know it's contagious, but it's like our people in our communities, they judge you as if, did you feel a sense of guilt? And now we think of your sister, Pastor Michelle, we think of your brother-in-law contracting this disease. Was there a sense of guilt on you guys that, was I now responsible for this? Was I the cause? How did that affect you guys? In a sense, for you, Pastor Michelle?
Pastor Errol, there was a sense of guilt initially. But education is key. It's important that people understand how this virus happens. It doesn't happen today. If you get sick today, you contracted this 2 weeks ago already. So you have to backtrack. Initially there was serious guilt on us. We felt terrible because we thought that we had infected the entire family, but that was not the case. All of us contracted it via other means 2 weeks prior. It just happened to rear its head round about the same time. Because we were in lockdown, we were not visiting each other. My mom is terminally ill. I wasn't even visiting my mother. I was home. We were not in contact with each other. It was just those 2 days that we had contact with each other, and by then we had already contracted the disease. Yes, there is a stigma in our community. Yes, people are walking around feeling guilty that they have it, and other people are making them feel bad about it. And this is my message to the people out there. COVID-19 is real, yes. Corona has a face, yes. But if somebody contracts it, corona is just a severe form of pneumonia. It is the flu in the extreme. People are not bad because they have contracted it. It's unfortunate. Now, later on we learned it is airborne. So anyone can get it. You can go to the corner store and get it. You can go to the supermarket. You can go to work. You can go to school. You can get it anywhere. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you are the one infecting your family. It is unfortunate that it happens, but it can happen via any means.
Wow. Is there, Pastor Wayne, as I'm ending off this great conversation that we have, is there any encouragement that you want to give to our viewers regarding and the safekeeping of ourselves regarding this COVID, as you guys are these survivors, and many times we just want to put our focus on how many people have died, but we here to give God all the glory that you guys are a testimony of God's, irrespective of your chronic diseases, with hypertension, with diabetic. You guys made it despite what the stats are saying, because we serve an awesome God, and we also mindful of those who did not make it. We think of those who lost loved ones, and we think and we keep them in prayer. Is there, as we end off, Pastor Wayne, just an encouragement to our viewers regarding this COVID-19 disease?
Pastor Errol, I think this is the key at the moment. I was preaching a series on fear at the moment. And I think the key for us at this moment in time is not to be gripped by fear. We've got to do what we ought to do, right? We've got to maintain the social distancing, make sure that you wear your mask, make sure that you sanitize, make sure that you are not exposing yourself unduly or unnecessarily out there, and do not expose others. If you are feeling ill and you're not feeling well, don't go to church, don't be amongst people. Stay safe. I think the enemy wants to rob us of our sanity during this period. But I am reminded of Isaiah that speaks about he was wounded for our transgressions, and he was bruised for our iniquities, speaking about the chastisement of our peace upon him, speaking about by his stripes we are still healed. I think it is key that we understand that today I can say, being a COVID survivor myself, I can say the key is trusting God. Put our trust and our faith in him. Do not be negligent, do not be ignorant, do not woefully expose yourself or others, but continue to live your life understanding that God is still in control, that God is still the God that has us and that's covering us. And I think I think we need to get back to a place of normality so that we can resume our lives, our churches, our workspaces, our families. It's difficult to just pick up. I do understand that, but I'm going to encourage you. Do not let fear grip you. Remember what I said last week. Job says, the thing that I feared greatly or mostly, that's the thing that came upon me. Fear is a magnet for disaster. The enemy operates by fear, but we don't. We operate by love, by power, and by a sound mind.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Wayne and Pastor Michelle. Thank you so much for your testimony. Hope our viewers were blessed by the testimony. We're looking forward. Don't forget to join us next week as we celebrate Women's Month. We're so blessed to have the visionary of Barrier Breaking Women that's going to join us, Pastor Carol Juman. So we're looking forward to joining us. God bless you.